Today in the crypto space, we see the market still looking strong, led by Bitcoin hitting about $99,250, so close to that $100,000 mark. Ethereum holding steady, waiting for its next move, and the rest of the crypto space, a mix of green and red with a bit of indecision. However, guys, we're waiting patiently to see what happens if Ethereum gets its rotation so that we can continue to the upside. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to come full circle on the AVAX trade that we talked about earlier on this week. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's take a look at what's going on here. The market in general is looking pretty good, of course, led by Bitcoin. The fact that Bitcoin is almost at $100,000, guys, geez, we're getting there, makes me feel like ultimately, no matter what, even if the altcoins, some of the altcoins are dipping down, looking a little slumpy, it doesn't matter. The reality is, Bitcoin hitting this level shows us that there's a future here in this crypto space. There's a future in the immediate short term that we're going to continue getting more capital in. We're going to get that rotation eventually. We're going to see the altcoins move. The question is when, obviously. When? We don't know when. We just got to be prepared. Ultimately, Bitcoin showing us the way. Right now, we see the overall market cap of the crypto space at $3.4 trillion and change. Very, very nice. Trading volume in the last little bit has spiked to the downside. Not a good thing, obviously, because we want to see market participation nice and strong as we get to these levels. But of course, we already anticipate some sort of emotional reaction right around the $100,000 mark. We hit extension levels right around that level as well. We hit a psychological level of 100,000. And this is, a target for many individuals. So let's see what happens, guys. Obviously, risk to reward ratio for Bitcoin is not the best at the current moment. Obviously, big picture, long range, it's fine. But really in the short term, we're still preparing for a dip. Just in case we do that, we want to be prepared with that cash on the side. Ethereum right now, a lot of the liquidity is getting sucked right out of it, getting put into Bitcoin, of course. That the FOMO right now is kicking in with Bitcoin, and a lot of people are looking at Bitcoin instead of looking at the other opportunities that are out there. But guys, this is the problem, right? We know that there are other opportunities. The question is, when is the market going to finally realize that it's time to start rotating into those other opportunities? Solana getting a bit of a pullback, but not really. XRP still doing pretty good here, up 21% for the day. XRP, if you're a holder, not bad of a scenario. Maybe start considering scaling out of a few positions, taking a bit of profit. Nothing's wrong with taking profit, of course, but it all depends on your convictions. It all depends on, where you think this market's going to end up going. Just understand that profits, the only way to call yourself profitable is to take a bit of profit, okay? So that's definitely a priority for a trader. Doge looking good. Cardano, guys, look at this, guys. Cardano is a project that many people have been fading in the last bit. And guys, I warned you, don't fade Cardano. Cardano comes out of nowhere. Cardano starts moving and you can't hold it back. And of course, we're getting a lot of good catalysts out of the Cardano camp in the last little bit. Cardano right now is on a tear. I wouldn't be buying this right now, to be honest. I'll be waiting for structure. I'll be waiting for a pullback. It could continue much higher, but that's the name of the game, guys. When the train has left the station with such aggressive price action, it's very hard to jump on, right? It's very, very hard to jump on, and it gets very risky. You could fluke it off, jump on, and it could go up another 50%. It's possible, but the reality is probability is, you know, you're asking to become exit liquidity here, even if it's for a short-term dip. So be careful out there with Cardano. Cardano, although I'm bullish long-term and I'm still bullish for this bull run, it's ran up too quick, too hard in a short period of time. So consider that. Now, today I want to talk about AVAX. You're probably wondering, why is Mike covering AVAX again? He just talked about it 2 days ago. And the reason being is literally AVAX, the trade needs to come full circle. I think it's a good learning opportunity. Like, I usually only cover options or scenarios that require major attention, like either, okay, it's ready to break out, or okay, it's time to really aggressively take profit. You know, AVAX at the end of the day has done exactly what we thought it was going to do, which is move to the upside. You know, despite what the market has been doing today, AVAX is slowly grinding upwards, which is healthy. And I think the party is just beginning. We'll talk about AVAX in a second. Obviously, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart just to use it as an indicator so we know where the heavyweight is going in the next little while. And we'll just touch upon it quickly. But as we go down quickly and we look through the top 100, we do see that there's still great gainers. There's still great opportunities. XLM, these Dino coins are doing great. Some of them are going sideways. Some of them are still moving, like Polkadot's doing okay. You can see that. We got HBAR rolling to the upside still. We got CRO doing okay. ICP's waking up. As you can see, there are some red dips. There are, like Render a little bit, Caspa not even, BitTensor a little bit more. But overall, guys, if you're rotating to some strength, take a bit of profit. Take a bit of profit, okay, guys? Because we've got to raise capital for the next big dip that happens who knows when, anytime now. Even VeChain's looking pretty good going sideways there. It definitely looks promising. And we saw Ethereum show a little bit of strength yesterday and the day before, which means that maybe we're just getting some sort of consolidation before we get some explosive price action. Algorand, I'm glad that I didn't give up on Algorand because it has been doing pretty good. So definitely waking up here. We're going to get that rotation, guys. We're waiting on Phantom to start moving again because it already moved up quite a bit in the last little bit. So maybe another move to the upside. And the list goes on, guys. The list goes on. Rune, Thorchain, Pith is kind of kind of quiet down there. Ondo going sideways for the last little bit. You know what I mean? So we got to look for those quiet bottom dwellers. Great risk to reward ratios. Look for those structures and expect continuations, guys, until proven otherwise. At the current moment, the only evidence that we could use for a potential rejection is Bitcoin. So let's begin. Guys, let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's do it. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is a beast. It's moving, and it's been moving. And right now, it's hitting its absolute target at about $100,000. Obviously, guys, 100,000 is the psychological level. We do have some extension levels right around this zone, right around 100, 105, something like that. We could definitely hit those levels as well to hunt a bit of liquidity, or even more so, trap up a little bit of liquidity from bulls that are getting in right at the end. And obviously, reversals get people wrecked right around this level. So we got to understand that we're hitting important zones where risk is really hot. You don't want to be taking risk. Risk is public enemy number one for traders. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Honestly, like right now, I'm so bullish that I can't buy right here. It's almost like an inverse indicator. When you feel overly bullish, when you feel overly euphoric here, Bitcoin did so good. Like I'm so happy that it's reaching 100,000, guys, and it's almost there. Pretty much it reached it. At the end of the day, we gotta cool off here, because now is where the retail market is gonna come in with so much FOMO that they could drive it up higher, or we could see market makers essentially use them as exit liquidity. And unfortunately, those are the individuals that are gonna call crypto a scam, Bitcoin a scam, this and that, right? We got to understand that that's the emotional moments of, local tops. And I believe that's what's going to end up happening here. We might get a bit of a retracement eventually, who knows when. I'm preparing. There's no guarantee, but I want to have a bit of cash on the side for that. But in the meantime, if we do get some good moves on altcoins, we have to make some critical decisions, because if an altcoin is going up and Bitcoin is going up and Bitcoin is hitting resistance, and eventually, who knows what happens here, we end up getting a reversal and we start coming down to these levels. At the end of the day, no matter what type of artwork we produce here, the reality is those altcoins will come down hard, even if it is a strong gainer. So we're looking for some sort of signal for a bearish divergence, inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, any type of structure that would suggest a short-term dip that might bring us down to about 87,000. This is my first target right around here. Okay, I have other levels that I'm interested in, which is at about 92, of course, right into this body of volume. That's an interesting level. But if we come down to hunt liquidity, which is what usually the main priority is to hunt liquidity, guys, we can fall down to about 87, something like that, maybe even a little bit lower, 85, which is still fine, healthy breather. If I'm not mistaken, we got a CME gap around that level as well that we got to watch out for. Okay, so not bad of a scenario. And I'm anticipating that this will happen. And then huge pop to the upside and Bitcoin hitting 150, 170, who knows where we go next. We'll take it day by day. But again, what do we do here with the altcoins? Altcoins will bleed out. Altcoins will take a bigger hit. However, as soon as Bitcoin finds a bottom on this potential retracement and Bitcoin hesitates and starts to look bullish, the altcoins are going to fly and they will start to eventually outperform Bitcoin. And that would be our first indication that we are in an altcoin season. Okay, so let's understand that we can have multiple altcoin seasons within one bull run, in the sense that there's catch-up phases. Bitcoin already ran up significantly. Now we're going to be waiting for some altcoins to kind of catch up. Then Bitcoin will retrace, altcoins will come down, and eventually altcoins will start to outperform Bitcoin. Because again, altcoins are lower cap, and it takes a little bit of capital to make them really run. So what we want to do is identify the opportunities where to take more risk. Right now is not the opportunity. On the dip, it is the opportunity to take risk, and then we'll take risk not on Bitcoin, but on some of those altcoins. That's the strategy. Okay, guys, so be patient here. Now, in the meantime, we'll talk about AVAX. We'll use AVAX as an example. Now, I just want to set the tone here. Ultimately, I did release a video on AVAX 2 days ago, and I usually don't do this, but this is the time to actually bring this full circle. Let's quickly look at when. 2 days ago was my last video, and then about 4 weeks ago was my first video. Okay, now if we go back to AVAX and we start looking at time frame, about 4 weeks ago we were in October, basically October 22nd, right around this level, right within the yellow box, right within a very good confirmation back test, higher low level within the yellow box. And if you've been following me here on the channel, you know my yellow box, what they mean accumulation. Okay, that's the time, right? Inverse head and shoulders, beautiful structure, neckline really confirmed. We're buying a confirmation low, higher low, very clear, all into here. Now all of a sudden we fast forward a few days in fact, and then we start looking at, what are we doing here? We already broke out. In this case, 2 days ago, we were in this structure, and I released a video saying, ultimately, guys, these are bull flags. These are flags that we got to get used to trading. Why? Because we are no longer going to see bottom dwelling price action such as these anymore. Eventually, they'll be gone. Projects, price action will leave the station. But it doesn't mean that you're just going to sit back and relax and just watch the price action float away from you. You're going to have to jump in at some time. And the best time to jump in is when you receive a structure to play the game. Right now, it doesn't look like it's a good time. Obviously, we're continuing. We broke out of the structure. So let's define this. This was a change of character. It is an inverse type of head and shoulder, inverse type of structure that shows you that we have bullish divergence right into here. If you look at oscillators, guys, and you start looking at big picture on the 4-day, you can see that once we reach this level, we started to diverge. The momentum started to diverge. This is the 4-day, by the way, guys. And we see that the trend started to diverge. The EMA is facing up, green histogram bars. Everything started to look really nice. And on the 4-day, we're getting a massive green candle alongside a nice green expansion. I just want you to see what happened the last time we got these green expansions. Look at the price action. Look at that. Okay, now look at the green expansion that is forming right now. Is this the beginning of a huge rally up? It could be, guys. And remember, AVAX is a larger cap OG altcoin. It could be one of those projects that start to continue to move, like Cardano did, like many others did. So we start looking at the 4-day. We see that it's bullish. We want to see the 4-day, eventually get overbought, and eventually we're going to start breaking previous highs and getting into, price discovery and all that good stuff. However, guys, the structure was important. This structure right here. Okay, we can see that the daily is already getting overbought again. We have a green expansion to the upside. We got an Uno reverse here on the volatility. The EMAs on the trend is EMAs are facing up, green histogram bars, and the expansion is still full force. It looks great. Continuation. The thing is that again, you're taking risk. Why? Because you're buying into a green pump. You're buying into some green price action. So we're trying to bring this full circle. Mike, where are you going with this? What I'm going with this is that now is not the time to buy. The time to take risk was down here at support. The time to take risk was right here in the structure. And the reason why I say that, if we get onto the 4 hour, you can see that we got a beautiful little structure here to basically create a setup. And I put this yellow box again where it said structure. Where did I put that? Anyways, it said structure there. The reason why is because here you can mitigate your risk. Risk mitigation should be part of your risk management strategy. You do not want to take risk. You want to mitigate as much of it as possible. And the only way to do that is to come up with a setup that allows you to put a stop loss at a level where you can mitigate that risk, right? So if you get an entry down here and your stop losses in your TPs waiting for an extension, you get what I mean. We can kind of mitigate a lot of that risk, guys. And it's looking good. Continuation to the upside. Now is not the time to get into a fresh long on AVAX. Now is the time to start looking for TPs for your short-term positions. What I mean by that is, in the short term, we could come up, maybe squeeze a little bit more. It's obviously going to get super green. But what about another consolidation? Even a bit of a retracement. Who knows when that happens? That would be your best time to get in. Getting in right now is a bit dangerous, guys. You're jumping right in on a moving train. Volume is not as high as it was before. Okay, on the short term, let's go back onto the oscillators to see what we're seeing in the short term. Look, we could get overbought. We're definitely getting overbought here, guys. Right now, AVAX is looking really strong. It could continue, guys. It definitely could, but you can't negate the fact that we're taking a lot of risk here. Look, even the 4 hours looking strong. The momentum's pushing, trying to get overbought. The 1 hour is looking like we're getting bearish divergence though, but the 1 hour, really what we're playing with is this little fractal or this little structure for continuation. I feel like AVAX in the immediate short term is going to continue moving to the upside, but you have to be finding a flag. You got to find a structure to play. This could be it. This small structure on the 1 hour, this small structure maybe on the 15-minute, guys. You get the point. Is it worth your time? Is it worth to get in on a 15-minute structure that potentially breaks to the upside? If it is, you know, at the end of the day, that's fine, but at least you have some risk management in play to protect yourself. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Again, let's make this full circle. We bought in at this level. We accumulated clearly at this level. This was a level that I tracked for multiple days. Now that we're in the green, we can start saying, look, the next level resistance that's quite important is at about $44, more or less. We have a little bit more to get there. We're at about 39 and change. Okay, $4 more, a little bit more percentage to the upside. And then we start entering a spot where there's a volume gap. Is there enough bullish momentum to break through and actually break through the volume gap? Or are we going to get that resistance at the bottom of the volume gap where we have bottoms and tops and lots of emotion right into the zone? I can see it based on the volume profile. If we get rejected, guys, we'll wait for a retracement and then we'll get that bounce and continuation. I feel like retracements are going to be quick and aggressive, because we are in some bullish market right now. You can see what Bitcoin is doing. As soon as Bitcoin shows the market a bit of weakness, people will take profit and start rotating in bottom dwelling altcoins. And in the meantime, we'll see a bit of retracement on some of those altcoins and we'll be able to buy the dip. So right now on AVAX, it's profit taking. I would be taking profit slowly. If you got into a leverage position, depending on how high, I would be de-risking. If you got into a margin position, I would also be de-risking, but less aggressive. More aggressive as we reach to this level, because you have a bit more wiggle room if you're doing a margin trade with, let's say, 2 to 3x leverage. The leverage is not a lot. You have margin there. Plus, if you got in early or on the structure, you're still doing okay. Ultimately, it's all about spot right now, personally speaking. If you plan on staying in on AVAX, take profit and rotate into spot just in case. Just in case it continues, at least you have spot bags. But if it doesn't, at least you de-risked a little bit by only giving yourself exposure to AVAX on spot. Not leverage, not margin, none of that. If we get a pullback, we can pile in even more. If we don't, guys, at least you have your spot bags. AVAX is killing it at the moment. I can see it moving up a little bit higher. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setup startups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover, I cover projects live at 8 p.m. You can make those requests, and I'll definitely put them in top priority. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.